Today I'm going to show you how to edit fall photos in Lightroom. Welcome back to another Lightroom editing tutorial. Today I'm going to be talking about how to edit fall photos in Lightroom to get that warmer autumn style tone to our images. If you look at most fall photos, they tend to be on the warmer side. They're starting to get cold, the leaves are changing colors, and so this editing style really complements the season. And so with this image, I was able to change all the bright green in the background, make it into more of like a golden orange look. And I was also able to keep the skin tones, but make them slightly warmer and make the hair slightly warmer as well. So if we look at a quick before, you can see the green is actually pretty vibrant. And so it doesn't look like it was taken during the fall season. And so I was able to add that warmer tone to it, make the leaves kind of change colors, so it looks better. I also added some more warm tones to like the hair and the skin tones, just to make the overall image look like it was taken during the fall time. And so before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Lightroom editing tutorials, and let me know down in the comments below what other presets or videos you would like to see. I went ahead and made a virtual copy just to get started with a clean edit. The first thing I'm going to do is start by adjusting the temperature to the warmer side, just so we can get that color editing process started. I also want to decrease the tint a little bit toward the greener side, just so we have some more green to play with later on when we're adjusting the temperature. Now I'm going to adjust the exposure, make the image overall brighter so we have more to work with. Also want to increase the contrast a little bit, but most of the contrast we're going to be doing is through the tone curve later on. I also want to decrease the highlights, since increasing the exposure kind of made the highlights over here brighter, so bring those down. Also want to increase the shadows just so you can see some more detail in the darker parts. I want to bring down the whites so they're not as bright. I also want to decrease the blacks so they're a bit deeper. I'm going to increase the texture a little bit, add some clarity, and also dehaze so that it's not too faded. Since we're going to be adjusting the colors a lot, I want to bring down the vibrance quite a lot too, so the colors aren't too much. I'm also going to increase some saturation just to bring some color back, but this will really help balance out the colors later on. Now I'm going to move on to the tone curve. So I'm going to start by making 3 points, one in the shadows, midtones, and highlights. So I'm going to bring down the shadows, and then bring the midtones over on this side a little bit, and then bring up the highlights. Also want to crush the whites a little bit, and then bring up the black point. And so you can see this added a lot of contrast to this image. So now actually I'm going to skip the HSL or come back to that later, but I'm going to go all the way down to the camera calibration. And so this is where I'm going to be adjusting a lot of the colors. And so I'm going to actually start with the blue primary. And so if I start bringing down the hue, you can see that the colors start changing, making it toward more like a warmer look. And I also want to increase the saturation a little bit so we have more color to work with. With the green, I also want to increase that a little bit so you have more green to work with, kind of changes that color. And then I'm going to decrease the saturation on that. With the red primary, I want to increase that towards like the orange. And then decrease the saturation on that. And I also want to add the tint to the shadows, kind of make that a bit more on the greener side. There we go. So just with the camera calibration alone, I was able to change the colors quite a lot. But you can see it kind of messed with the skin tones and the hair color. And this background isn't as warm as I wanted. So now we're going to go back up to the HSL sliders and kind of fine tune the colors a little bit more, make it how we want it. And so I'm going to start by fixing the skin tones and the hair. And so I'm going to adjust the reds, make it a little more on the red side. But I also want to make the orange more on the yellow side, so I'm going to increase that. I'm going to desaturate the reds a little bit. With the oranges, I really want to bring down the saturation because it was too much from the camera calibration edits. There we go. Then I'm going to darken the reds, then darken the oranges just a little bit. So you can see that really helped bring down the bright red in the skin tones and the hair. So now I'm gonna adjust the green in the background, make it more of like warmer. All the yellows over here, I'm gonna make them on the warmer side. And all the greens, I'm gonna bring them more towards like the yellow. And so you can see that really changed the color of the background, made the leaves really warm instead of that bright green. So I also want to adjust the saturation on those. I'm going to desaturate the yellows just a little bit, but I want to bring up the saturation of the green so you can see more of that golden tone coming through. I want to make the yellows brighter, and then I also want to make the green brighter just so we see it a bit more. There we go. And so you can see I was able to make the green into more like a warmer look now. So now with the aquas, blues, purples, and magentas, I'm going to be adjusting those. I want to make the aquas more towards like a teal look. And then the blues, I'm going to make them a little bit more blue. The purple, I really want it to be more like a blue, so I'm going to adjust that over here. Then the magentas, I want it to be more like a red. Now with the saturation, I'm going to be desaturating most of these. So just the aquas down a little bit, blues and purples a little bit more, and the magenta, I want to decrease that as well. Also, it'll make the aquas darker, and blues a little darker. I'm going to be increasing the luminance for purple and magenta. And so you can see with the before and after, I was really able to fine tune the colors, make the green in the background more warmer, and also fix up the skin tones a little bit more. So now I'm going to move on to split toning, where I'm going to add the colors and the highlights and the shadows. And so with the highlights, I'm going to press Alt or Option, change the hue. I want it to be more like an orange. There we go. And then increase the saturation on that. And then for the shadows, I want to make that more like a blue, so press Alt or Option. And then bring that over to where it's like a blue. There we go. And then I'm going to increase the saturation for that. So you can see from a quick before and after, that just added that overall warmer tint to the image in the highlights and the shadows. Now I'm going to move on to the detail panel, where I'm going to sharpen the image. I'm going to sharpen the image just a little bit, and then mask that towards like the edges. There we go. Also going to reduce the noise a little bit, and add some detail there, and then reduce some of the color noise. And so this is the final edit. Let's just look at a quick before. You can see the green was really vibrant, and so I was able to adjust that and make it into more of a warmer tone to get that fall style photo that I wanted. So that's how you edit fall photos in Lightroom. Thank you so much for watching today's tutorial on how to edit fall photos in Lightroom. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe for more Lightroom editing tutorials, and let me know down in the comments below what other presets or videos you would like to see. Thanks for watching.